independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I think having a fake hearing like that and having it in the middle of this very important summit is really a terrible thing.
Look, I have to be honest. Yesterday wasn't the best day for the president. Not all of his doing. Him walking away with nothing wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't. Remember, Reykjavik, Reagan. You know what? Push away from the table. If you ever read Art of the Deal, but if you ever read anybody who's ever written a sales book or been successful, sometimes they'll say, sometimes you just walk away from a deal. The best deal is no deal. But I thought what took place yesterday, which was a circus, which was about not getting to the bottom of a story that is good. Everything we heard for all intents and purposes yesterday, we kind of either thought or we'd already heard it 1,000 times. We tuned in to watch the idiots scream and yell at each other and say things like, liar, liar, pants on fire, stuff like yeah, that happened. That absolutely happened. It did. That if he didn't hear all of it, I'm going to play some later where you're just going to shake your head and said, oh, my God. But what took place yesterday weakened the president. And whether you like him, you want him gone, you love him, you tolerate him, he's still the president, and he's going into a negotiation with a person who has nuclear weapons, a person who could easily send a region of the globe where we have some 25,000 soldiers, and we have allies, into a tailspin, and you weakened him. You could have held this next week. We talked about that. You don't think for a second? I covered it last night. I stayed up extremely late. I did about 10 hours live radio yesterday, all the way through into the wee hours of the morning. You don't think that the South Koreans, the North Koreans, the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the rest of the world wasn't watching what was going on? And you don't think China and North Korea thought, ask him for the world? He's weakened. Try it. Yeah. Do I think that they did some stuff? I do. I think they got some stuff moving in a direction that's good. I don't think it was ever going to be a simple, it gets done today kind of thing. They walked away from each other with a smile on their face. Both of them seemed to feel like it went okay. It abruptly came to an end. Yes, that did happen.
This wasn't a walk away like you get up and walk out. No, this was very friendly. We shook hands. There's a warmth that we have. Now, I hope that stays. I think it will.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only misstep that happened yesterday was the warm beer situation with Trump. I think that was not a good situation. I think the way he handled that was bad. And if you didn't hear,
I did speak about it, and I don't believe that he would have allowed that to happen. It just wasn't to his advantage to allow that to happen.
Yeah, he knew it happened, right? Like, he did. Don't tell me he didn't know what was going on.
I know the Warm Beer family very well. I think they're an incredible family. What happened is horrible. I really believe something very bad happened to him, and I don't think that the top leadership knew about it.
No, I think they knew. They absolutely knew. Hell, they probably had the videotapes of it. That's probably what they watch. Hey, you guys want to watch that great show called We Torture and Kill Otto Warmbier? Oh, my God. Yeah, it's #1 in the ratings. Oh, yeah, he knew. Did he think it would get to the point where it got to? Well, that could be debatable, You can maybe debate that. But did he know all those things were going on? Hell yeah. And I think that's another one of those situations. But you don't want to. I saw something happen yesterday. So I'm watching the whole thing because, I covered the show last night. So I covered all of this. So I'm watching it. First of all, Kim Jong-un took a question from a foreign journalist, which rarely happens. How rare? Some people say it may be the first time ever. And by the way, he has a smoker's voice. He talks like this smoker's voice for sure. But they asked him, they're all at a table, right? You got Bolton and Pompeo and the translator and Trump and a few other people. And they're, and the other side is just full of the North Korean delegates and the same thing on that side. And you've got all these people. And somebody asked him about human rights violations and records. And you could see Trump fuming. And he took the question over immediately. He doesn't want to embarrass the guy. He wants to get a deal done. And I think a lot played into yesterday and the way the negotiation went. And you can't tell me that some of that took place yesterday didn't have an impact of what took place in the wee hours of the morning early into that. You cannot tell me. It absolutely did. It did. And what did we learn from yesterday? I'm just curious. Did anybody learn anything new? Nothing changed. It was a freak show at times. It was, listen to this right here. And I said it, and I'll continue to say it. These hearings are about the people that are asking the questions, who want to get their 5, 10, 15 minutes where they can do their loud talking and they're banging on the doors and they're screaming and yelling and get that, look how much I'm fighting for you. These aren't about getting answers from people that they're asking questions. No, no, no.
Republicans came out swinging against Cohen, who's pleaded guilty to lying to Congress before.
Michael Cohen, fraudster, a cheat, convicted felon, and in 2 months a federal inmate.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. No one should ever listen to you.
But Cohen noted that they were not quick to defend the president's actions.
I just find it interesting, sir, that between yourself and your colleagues, that not one question so far since I'm here has been asked about President Trump.
And he hinted that there are more, potentially even bigger bombshells still to come.
Yeah. Look, Trump's big issue is going to come from New York, the Southern District Court. That is going to be an issue that I think he's going to have some serious issues with, and potentially his family's going to have some issues with. But he answered some questions yesterday that I thought, kind of put some stuff on, the path of especially when it comes to collusion, right? Especially when it comes to a few other things. There was some questions there that he seemed to answer, whether or not, there was questions like, the video, the P video. There was questions about him hitting his wife. Cohen's like, he would never hit his wife. But they asked those questions, right? It's ridiculous, some of the stuff that was asked. But it wasn't about that. It was about being seen. It was about, can we weaken even further the president's character? Because this is all about 2020. And, I look ahead and I say to myself, do we learn anything? What happened? The jumping the shark thing that I said yesterday, I thought was very, very real. We jumped the shark. I don't think this does us any good, no matter what Elijah Cummings says.
Today, I think, was a very important day. I tell my staff that 200 years from now, people will be reading about this moment. And so I will say to you, the press, get it right.
Yeah, they're going to read about this moment and go, what were they doing? Why was that idiot given an opportunity to sit there and to do what he did? Why did they even placate him at all? That's what they're going to say. Yeah, you're right, Elijah. They're going to talk about this maybe in 200 years and say, well, that's why we don't do that anymore. That's why we don't give platforms to people like that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Something else that you need to watch out for when we talk about stuff today. President heading in, obviously, as 2020 is fast approaching when it comes to election time, and they're gearing up Beto. He's making noises, look like he's getting ready to jump into it. But as long as the economy is chugging along, it will always be the president's best friend. Numbers out today, not the greatest numbers. And the GOP and the president, they'll spin it, right? Because that's what you do. You look for the silver linings in situations. But the reality is even though we've got good, the numbers as far as unemployment and growth and confidence is there, it's still, it's not the best. And this is, in the end, everything else that goes on, right? The emergency, we're building the wall, all of these things, which for that's a certain group of people that is your base, that is there. That's all they care about. But the independent voters, the people that are going to put you over the top in certain areas, the economy is still going to be the driving force of that.
The Commerce Department says growth in gross domestic product slowed to 2.6% in the fourth quarter, a drop from 3.4% in growth rate in the third quarter. The government says slower consumer spending was the biggest factor in the slowdown, while the 35-day government shutdown also shaved off an estimated 1/10 of a percentage point. Mark Remillard, ABC News, Washington.
So, not great. Not great at all. Not the worst news, but I saw great, I think it was Business Insider, Wall Street Journal today, saying, yeah, you promised all of these things to be better than Obama. Not so much. People are like, how dare you say something like that? No, you want honesty. I want my president to succeed. I don't have to agree with everything he does. But I think we could do better. Absolutely. And even when you look at something like this and you say, well, there was the government shutdown. Whose fault's that? You wanted to own it. That hurt you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet us. A lot of stuff to get to today. We're going to talk about that Davis professor who advocates for killing police officers, which is just insane, the fact that he's teaching children. And can you homeschool college kids? University of Phoenix. Okay. We're talking about that. But this comes on the heel of the kid getting punched last week or the week before last in Berkeley. And you say to yourself, this is the insanity that we have in college campuses nowadays, where you can advocate for the killing of a police officer, right? Because you believe they're all evil and bad and those kind of things, right? Or punching a conservative in the face and nothing really seems to be getting done by that, and there's no outrage. And people wonder why does the media always attack liberals, like saying there's some sort of bias and slant on this? Could you imagine some of the other stuff? If you just take away that and say it was a MAGA hat kid wearing person who punched somebody, or a professor saying something about killing African Americans or blacks or trans students, just think about that, or professors or whatever. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Guys, we're terrible at doing what? Taking care of our health. Trust me, I've been there. I know. I've hurt myself on a few occasions, and I'll walk it off. It'll be good, Coach. I'll walk it off. Well, guess what? Not always true. Something else that we don't do. We don't take care of ourselves when it comes to things like ED, erectile dysfunction. Yeah. Studies show that how many? 70% of guys who experience ED don't get treated for it. Thankfully, Roman has created an easy way to get checked by a doctor. This is awesome, right? So get ready for this. It's a one-stop shop. Licensed U.S. physicians diagnose ED and ship medication right to your door. You don't have to go to an office. There's no waiting rooms, face-to-face conversations, uncomfortable trips to the pharmacy. None of that. You handle everything discreetly online. All you have to do is go to getroman.com/Benson. Fill out a brief medical onboarding, chat with a doctor, get FDA-approved ED meds delivered straight to your door, discreet, unmarked packaging. Boom, win for you. And here's what they're doing. They said, Chad, what can we do? I said, well, why don't you do an online visit for free for my listeners? I said, okay, deal. Get it today. Go to getroman.com/Benson. It's free. Not going to cost you anything. That's getroman.com/Benson for a free online visit. Getroman.com/Benson. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
Driving around L.A. is often a slow go, and now a new AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety study says the average West Coast commuter is spending 20 minutes more each week in their car than they were only 5 years ago. Doug Shoup at AAA says more time in your car means more of a chance to not pay attention to driving.
That could lead to more driver distraction, driver fatigue.
AAA believes more people owning cars, lower gas prices, and aging infrastructure are to blame for more traffic and longer commute times in the West.
Oh, yeah, and the fact that they never expand or do anything. That's the thing that makes me laugh. They blame it on everything else except for the fact that they failed to plan ahead. And getting anything done in a place like California is virtually impossible. It is. And it takes forever. And by the time they finish it, they're so far behind where they should be. They're playing catch up, and it's sad. And if you think about how much time you spend, and it wasn't what, as I looked at these studies that are out about like the worst commutes, and Arlington, Virginia, and some of the places in and around D.C. are awful, but at least they have some public transport. But in California, in certain areas, the length of time, this is why people used to always question me, why do people in California spend so much money on cars? You spend a majority of your day going from point A to point B. Housing is ridiculous. To buy something nice or to rent something nice, you usually have to get further and further away from your job. I mean, my God, Producer Phil, your commute every single day, tell the people about your commute in Arlington.
It's 7 minutes if I can hit the light.
7 minutes, and he's walking. Not everybody's like that. I have friends in Southern California who live 3 hours away from where they work. And it's not a 3-hour drive. It's just 3 hours in the car. My joke used to be, I could see my house. It'll take me an hour to get there. They live 40 miles from work, 30 miles from work. They leave at 5 in the morning. They get there at 8. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. But it's like that, and it's getting worse. And this is that whole thought about, the other day we're listening to Bill Maher talk about, how the rest of America is jealous of places like this because they have art galleries and orchestras. Who's going to them? They don't have time. One of the big reasons I love living in London because of the tube, because of doing everything. I like my independence, and I live farther outside of town, about an hour outside of town. I like being able to get somewhere, but also be out of somewhere fast where I've got some space. But what about the orchestra? That is the thing that makes me laugh. What about the theater? How many people go to the theater and orchestra? Just curious. When's the last time many of you went to the theater? Please tell me. When did you go to the theater last? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Craziness on college campuses. Wait till you hear this story. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Alexander Hamilton in Federalist 72 made clear the founders' view that only the legislative branch commands this power, not the judiciary, not the executive.
Susan Collins, who's not happy with what Trump did with the state of emergency, and that's still hanging out there. I mean, think about the week that Trump is at Cohen. Productive, but not a finished summit with Kim. I didn't think it would be finished, but I think they thought they'd get the ball a little bit further. You still have the Mueller investigation hanging on out there, and then you've got the fact that you're facing potentially the Senate shooting this thing down across the board, and you could veto it all you want. You know it's going to go to the highest place, but there's a frustration, I think, that Trump looks around and sees this, and you've got more and more Republicans that are speaking out saying, I am not thrilled by this emergency declaration. I'm not, because they feel like they're being usurped. You're going around us. And people say, well, Chad, there's like 31 other ones. Yeah, I was going to point all that stuff out, right? You're preaching to the choir here, except for when you look at them, they're not like this because of the dollars. And that's big. The power of the purse. Very important. Very important. And you've got more and more people on the right saying, this wasn't the right thing to do. This wasn't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So a professor at UC Davis who teaches children and young minds right? In California and across the country, nationwide. It is so ridiculous what is going on. And we've had several prominent progressive professors who've come on here and talked about the fact that they feel uncomfortable with where colleges are going. They feel uncomfortable with how it is a one ideology place of extremism and lunacy. And if you dare have a moderate or a right-leaning position, you keep your mouth shut or else. Think about what this professor, Joshua Clover, English professor. Oh, does he teach the Queen's English? I do not know. Said about police officers, 2014, tweeted, I am thankful that every living cop will one day be dead. Some by their own hands, some by others. Too many of old age. Hashtag let's not make more. He also tweeted, I mean, it's easier to shoot a cop when their backs are turned. No? Question mark. In an interview in SF Weekly, people think that cops need to be reformed. They need to be killed. This coming at a university, teaches children. By the way, remember Natalie Corona of Davis, 22-year-old officer out on the beat for just a few weeks when she was gunned down? Yeah. They as usual, they capitulate. We protect his free speech. He's got the right to say these kind of things. Fine. Again, it's free speech. The beauty of free speech is you're able to say something, right? But it should go both ways. It's about the speech you don't like, not the speech you do. If you were to say this about blacks, if you were to say this about the LGBT community, if you were to say this about anybody, I mean, my God, they freak out when Milo or you know, any right-leaning person at all comes to the college to sit down and have a chat in an open forum, right? Dave Rubin, a liberal. Oh, but he doesn't. And it's insanity. People are going into with trigger warnings and they fight to keep them off campus. And that guy does that and he's still employed? Are you effing kidding me? Have we lost our minds? Right? Look, he's got the right to say that. He does. He's got the right to go ahead and say that. But you're teaching kids and that's how you feel? Think about this. Last week, we didn't have a chance to touch on this, but Berekly, also a college campus, once the bastion of free speech, once the place where free speech, open ideas were celebrated. Now, left-leaning insanity. You got a guy named Hayden Williams on campus, right? Turning Point USA, trying to recruit some people to a conservative cause. Lo and behold, he'll tell you the story, what takes place, and it's filmed.
We were talking to a potential new member when this happened, and these two people just approached our table, as I said, very erratically, and started cussing at us, and that's when I knew that this was probably a troublesome situation. So I pulled out my phone to start recording, and his friend, one of the gentlemen that approached our table, smacked my phone out of my hand.
Okay, so there he is, right, trying to recruit. Not screaming, yelling, not yelling racial epithets and doing, no, trying to recruit, handing out stuff like so many other people do. Vegans, climate warming, whatever. People out there doing this, right? And they've got a sign because the whole Smollett thing had blown up, and everybody who wore a MAGA hat, everybody who's to the right was blamed for this, and all of that stuff. And so they've got a kind of sign poking fun at that.
And while I was there, some students took offense to our sign that we had that said, hate crime hoaxes hurt real victims. And this person claimed we were promoting violence on campus and proceeded to take his aggression out on us.
Yeah. And I love that too, right? I love how they accuse of violence, right? They accuse of violence and then they commit violence themselves.
We know there were 3 witnesses, but I think it's also important to note that this is not new for UC Berkeley. This is a school that's been burnt down almost because they don't like the conservative point of view on the college campus. And so it's not just an isolated event here. The conservative view is under attack, and you have professors that are on that campus that don't want the conservative view and students there. So it's something we got to take seriously.
Yes, it absolutely is. So you've got a UC Davis professor advocating for killing police officers and how they shouldn't make any more and they should all die, and you could shoot them in the back. You've got a kid on campus, and it's filmed from several angles, right? Like the first thing I said is like, I want to see if there's more to it. No, yeah, it is absolutely amazing. And you shake your head. But I say, what if, right? What if it was something else? I mean, my God, it's so, and this is part of that intersectionality and the victim culture that lies out there where everybody's trying to get above the next victim culture. And where is your hierarchy inside of the victim culture in the intersectionality of life? He's a conservative. He's a cisgendered male. Therefore, he's at the bottom of the barrel. And anything you do to them or him is totally fine. And that is not a good place to be. Especially considering we're not going anywhere. So we're either going to have to figure out, get along, or it's going to get ugly. And I think most of you listening probably agree. I've got friends, most of my friends are left-leaning. But very rarely do we talk politics or any of that stuff. I mean, the fact is, I always say, do you walk around? People always ask me, do you walk around all day talking politics? I don't. I get so many other things. You know what the biggest excitement with my day was yesterday? My producer, Anthony, went out of his way to get me a copy of a book about Gunsmoke and its 50th anniversary. I was over the moon. All the other things, I was so excited. The Cohen stuff I covered, it's been... But it's the little things. That's what life should be about. The fact that we all have different ideas about stuff. It's okay that we have different ideas. But this world that we live in now where we can't even share a moment anymore with people or talk about something or disagree in particular over ideas. And I've always asked, what are you afraid of? Right? What are you afraid of? That you're afraid that this kid's handing something out. What are you afraid of? Why are you, school, afraid that somebody may come out and say transgender athletes, in particular male to female, shouldn't compete against female athletes because it's completely unfair? And you could talk about the testosterone all day, the years of building up muscle, and you're not going to get rid of the testosterone and if you're on a college campus, you say that, you're screwed. But you can advocate for killing police officers? Have we lost our mind? Have we lost our way? Because it is disturbing. It really is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So how much do you buy into online reviews? For all the fake news that's out there, and there's plenty of it, both sides are guilty of it, I have a tough time when it comes to online reviews. One of the reasons is because you have a bad steak, you tell 10 people. You have a good steak, you tell one. That's one of it. But the other is how much do you even trust any of that? Because you can go set up a bunch of accounts to hammer your rival in selling tacos. So if you have a taco or if you have a hot dog stand or whatever it is, and you got somebody competing with you and you want to set up and on top of that, between buying Facebook likes, Facebook shares, Twitter accounts and all these kind of things, how real is any of it?
The FTC says a marketing company paid for fake reviews on Amazon.com, but our investigation goes even further, uncovering questionable reviews not only on Amazon, but on multiple online platforms.
Shopping for a phone case on Amazon? Get the one with 4.5 stars instead of 3, right? Hunting for Chinese food on Google? Same thing. Looking to hire a contractor on Facebook or Yelp? You're probably going to look at that rating, but you might want to take a closer look at those reviews.
Yeah, and people... Because I'm on Amazon a lot, right? So because it's, I don't know, it might be an addiction. It's just so easy, isn't it? Just like, oh yeah, I like that. I don't need it, but I like it. And it's going to come to me, so it makes it even worse. But it's hard for me to always look at reviews, especially when I know I've got a product from that same company and I'll look and these reviews are all negative. And I'm like, well, I know the product they make that I do like. So, and I do a lot, like Hotels.com is a perfect example because I use Hotels.com because I travel so much. And some of the hotels I go to are awful. They're absolutely awful. And I'll look and I'm like, wow, that's like a 4-star review or a 3-star review. There's no way. And some of the hotels where it's like 1.5-star review, but I'm like, I'm cheap. I'm staying here. I'm only going to be here for 6 or 8 hours. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this place. It's tough. It is. And you can buy these things.
So who are all these people that are writing bogus reviews? We start with a simple search on Google. See what pops up. Buy real Facebook 5-star ratings. This $15 for 55-star ratings, $200 for 60.
Yeah, it's a business. So how do you know it's real? Because they set up these farms and they get these things out there. And you can also have negative reviews. It's tough. That's why you got to go try yourself, man. You got to go try yourself. Got to find out what that's like. Otherwise, and the other thing is, and I've noticed this from my Facebook, is it's so much easier to be pissed and angry and scream and yell. And I think people enjoy that more than they do being positive. We should be more positive. I try to be positive. But God, people just love being negative. That's why they always say, you have a bad steak, you will tell 10 people. You have bad service, you will tell 10 people. You have great service, you may forget it or tell one person. Because we're so apt to jump on the negative. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Plea deal this.
Mueller, arrest me.
Chad will trade you 2 perjury charges for 1 collusion and throw in a reduced charge of obstruction for free.
Yeah, I'd do that.
For just listening to The Chad Benson Show. I work all night, I work all day to pay the bills I have to pay.
Oh.
Hey, need said.
Money, money, money.
Never seems to be a single penny left for me. That's too bad.
Let's talk about money, shall we, for just a second? Because a little while ago it was announced that somebody is going to be getting extra wealthy very, very soon. And, a lot of years, 13 of them to play baseball.
I think the 13 years were important to the Phillies. I think they were important to the Phillies because when you're talking about a team that's going to be pushing up against the luxury tax threshold every season, as the Phillies could potentially do here over this run where they feel like they're going to be one of the best teams in baseball, that gives them some flexibility, and that was important to them. And for Bryce Harper, it was important that he set the record for overall value, and he did.
Yeah, he did. How much? 13 years, $330 million, about $26 million a year. For 13 years, I got to be honest with you. I don't know if I'd want to play in Philadelphia. They booed Santa Claus and Mike Schmidt. It's a tough act, right? It is. But 13 years, $330 million, and there's that's a lot of money. Then the clock starts ticking on a guy named Mike Trout that says if Bryce Harper's getting $330 million over 30 years, then the guy that's basically the same age as him but plays on the West Coast for a team that hasn't contended, so that means a lot of the East Coast doesn't see it. And there's no doubt in anybody's mind who the best baseball player in the world is, even though if he walked in today to a mall, most people that have no idea who he was, what would he be worth? $500 million is what they're saying. That's insane. That is insane. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. By the way, Michael Cohen, that guy, he's going to be back on the Hill. They've got more stuff planned for him next month. He is just, you sit there and you think to yourself, it's just never ending. It is. He should buy a house there. Oh, he can't afford one, but he should buy a house. If he could, he should probably do it. Republicans want to speak to him, and today was another one of those days. And this today was less political and more about getting down to business. I don't know if they got everything they wanted, but they're bringing him back, and the Republicans want to talk to him about stuff. So we'll see how that goes. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Love hearing from every one of you.
The autonomous delivery vehicles called the FedEx Same-Day Bot will specialize in day deliveries, dropping off packages at front doors after climbing steps, avoiding traffic, and navigating down roads and sidewalks. FedEx office president and CEO Brian Phillips.
The bot enables us to serve an unmet need that simply wouldn't be possible with a traditional van and a traditional driver.
FedEx is partnering with retailers like Pizza Hut, Walgreens, Walmart, and AutoZone to make the deliveries to locations within a mile of a store.
How cool is that? So you can have a FedEx bot coming to your house, dropping stuff off. That's why you need Blink Home Security. Boom! It's called a segue, kids. Deal with it. Yeah, it's amazing. Let me tell you something about Blink and what they do. I trust them with the most precious thing. That's my family. And it's great. They've got these outdoor cameras, indoor cameras. They have live feed options, they have all of these amazing things. And right now, they've got an impressive, amazing 20% off their outdoor XT camera systems. And it is a must-to-have, not only to check out, see your packages, but to see if somebody's lurking out there. Too many stories out there about people finding out all too late that somebody's inside their house because they're in there. Wouldn't happen with Blink. Get it right now. Blink Outdoor XT camera systems, impressive 20% off. Hurry, sale ends March 16th. Midnight Eastern. Visit blinkprotect.com/sale. 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 Blink is an Amazon company, and it works with Alexa. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Tweet the show. I try to get back to each and every one of you as best that I possibly can. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
They want to know how you pay for it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
How do you talk to those Democrats that look at some of these ideals with skepticism?
I would say to them that that we have to reframe the perspective, and instead of looking at the issue of ensuring that all people have access to health care, because the premise there is that access to affordable health care should not be a privilege, it should be a right.
Yeah, access to affordable health care, it should be there. You should be able to. You should also be able not to want to purchase health care or to pay cash only or to do concierge doctor. You shouldn't be forced into something you don't want to do. Right? And even today, Nancy Pelosi's like, yeah, the affordability question's real. And everybody sees where the left is going, and they're going further and further left. That's one of the reasons why people wonder why, well, we need new blood. We need new blood. Here's the thing. What you want, maybe not if you're on the left, what you need if you want to get this guy out of the White House. Because not as much as Trump infuriates a lot of independents, frustrates a lot of people, you know what scares them more? The fact that the left is jockeying to be even further and further progressive and getting into a place where that scares them far most than the devil they do. And every time they start talking about things, this is the one thing I'll say lately for the press, is they are pushing on this thing called cost, right? They're asking questions. Cost. Now, here's the sad thing. A lot of them know none of this stuff is ever going to come off. And I always wonder, do people really believe that? Do people really buy into Medicare for all or free college tuition or everybody gets something free? Do you really believe that? Do you? Doesn't mean we can't make things better. Doesn't mean we can't get out of our own way at times and figure out ways to make it more competitive and bring down the cost. And we can't do things to make it better across the board in situations. Doesn't mean we can't do that. But do you really believe that there's no cost associated with any of this stuff? I'm always curious. It's like, I mean, I joke, Trump, you said Mexico was going to build the wall, and that's not happening. But did I ever believe that Mexico was going to build the wall? No, unless you were going to throw some bizarre, weird tariffs and start, and when they try to, put and send money back home, you're going to throw something on there. I never really thought, and I never even thought we're going to get the entire wall built. But some people bought into it. So I'm curious about this, but I'm glad the fact that people are asking the cost, Let's talk about some of the cost.
It should not only be accessible to those who can afford it, it should be accessible to all. So then when people start saying cost, my response is no, it's not about cost. It's about investment. It's about investment. It's not about cost.
No, it is about cost because you can't pay for something. Right? Then it doesn't work that way. You've got to be able to pay for it. And that's the one thing America has issues with at this moment in time is we are no longer paying as we go. We're mortgaging. You're worried about, the climate tomorrow and the next day. We may fix the climate before we get rid of this massive debt, and there'll be nothing left for anybody to do. Hey, great. It's nice and cool outside. We've saved the world. It's a world that nobody wants to live in. Chad, that's ridiculous. Stop saying that. I think it's a fair question to ask. I really do. And the one thing that she does, Kamala Harris, that others don't do, is she says something there, and it's one word, and he changed that word, and it makes things, okay. It's an investment. It's an investment. All right. But you guys are a huge part of the problem. I can't shop around for my health insurance. I'm stuck with this. That's it. This is what I'm stuck with. Well, I don't need this. This is too expensive and has a bunch of crap I don't need. Right? Why can't I go say, this is exactly what I need? Could you imagine if car shopping was insurance shopping? Where they said, all right, in this area, all you're allowed to have is 1992 Hyundais. But you got to pay a premium for them. But you can't go anywhere else. This is all you're allowed to get. Well, I don't want that. Right? And you guys over here, you have a choice of 3 cars. You can literally get a Cadillac that is ridiculously expensive and has a bunch of crap that you probably don't need on it. But you're like, no, I don't. All I need is a bus pass. All I need is a train pass. All I need. No. This is it. That's a frustrating thing. It really is. Think about that. Like, what if you were reduced to, if you went car shopping? I mean, we let you buy a vehicle that you will spend so much time in going from point A to point B. And when you go to shop for healthcare, something more important, you are limited to this. That's frustrating. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Speaking of interesting and government getting involved in stuff, this is this is government ridiculousness at its best in Oregon, and it's in several other cities, but this is the first state to make it completely universal.
Everyone here knows that this is a groundbreaking piece of legislation, as we are the first state in the nation to enact this level of protection for our renters. The bill is a critical tool for stabilizing the rental market throughout the state of Oregon.
Oh, so they're going to stabilize. They're going to have rent control across the board in Oregon. Rent control across the board. That's a great, isn't that great? I mean, it's fantastic.
It will provide immediate relief to Oregonians struggling to keep up with rising rents and a tight rental market.
And how is it going to happen? Because now if I'm a person, it's a builder. Why would I want to build somewhere where you're going to control everything? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do any of those things? You look at any economist when they talk about things like this as a perfect example of government getting in the way, thinking, hey, you know what? We're going to do this. It's going to be fantastic, right? It's going to be fantastic. This will be great. This will be awesome. we'll go in there and we'll tell everybody it's rent control. You can only raise rent so much, and if you're a new builder, you can. We're gonna control what you can charge. Just that. It's a little bit more when you get down deep. There's certain things they can do, how much they can take things down. But the reality is why would you want to say to somebody who's willing to build something, this is what's going to happen, and now this is what we're going to do. So what would make me want to build there? Right? You're artificially creating a shortage by control. You look at economists across the board, they say short-term gain, long-term loss, because people say, I'm getting out of the rental market. Houses I was renting, rather than if I know the marketplace, I can get $2,000 a month for it. I was only charging $1,000 or $1,100 because somebody's been there for a while, but the marketplace now would bear that, and you're telling me I can't do that, then I might as well sell it and take my money and go home. And now there's nobody renting the place. And, oh, by the way, somebody's come in and bought it. So, well, that's great. Yeah, but not a lot of people can afford that. That's the whole point. This is about protecting renters, not buyers. But you're taking a situation and you're thinking, oh, this is great. This is going to help so many people. And people are saying, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. And then, of course, you've got to throw in the kids, right? Because anytime you mention kids, everybody goes, oh.
We need to make sure that no kid shows up to school after spending the night in a car.
But you're making it worse. How, Chad? Because people aren't going to build. So what are you going to have? Less building. Less building means you're going to have people there still trying to rent. The housing market and the renter market is going to get squeezed even more because you're not adding on. California does the same thing. They make it so ridiculous to try to do anything that people are like, why would I want to do this? Why would I want to put myself to this? Why? The amount of time it takes, you make it virtually impossible with all of the fees and everything. You hurt. You scream and yell. Oh, we got a housing shortage, right? We got a housing shortage. Renters, it's tough. It's horrible. Houses are unaffordable. Oh, yeah, that's true. What do? Well, let's make it tougher. We'll tax the new existing homes even more that are being built. So that way, what? What are you doing? So that way nobody wants to build. It's government wanting to get more and more involved rather than let the free market say, hey, look, here's some rules. Follow these rules. We're not going to overtax you to death. You want affordable housing, allow people to build affordable housing. You know, I would look and say, all right, here's the deal. Like San Francisco is a perfect example of insanity, right? A perfect example of absolute insanity, where you hear people on numerous occasions talk about the fact that there's homeless problems everywhere, people pooping in the street. It is disgusting and vile. It's a frustrating place to live. And yet when you see and talk to developers, they're like, yeah, I've been delayed 3 years on this project. Or I read an article last week in Reason or the week before. A guy got permission to redo part of his home. He knocked down an area that wasn't even originally part of the home. The building committee came in and told him he knocked down all of this stuff, all of which they said he could do, because he's going to do duplex and all of this stuff there. And what happened? They came in and said, you have to rebuild the house to spec as before you knocked it down because we think it's a historical place, even though nothing historical has happened here and it's only been here since the 70s. And then they wonder why there's a crunch. It's insane, right? It's insane. They do it to themselves. But when you go after the low-hanging fruit in the voter world and you continue, rather than say, hey, how can we make your life better by giving you a better opportunity, showing you how to get yourself and outperform the place that you are in life so you can move up? No. I got a better idea. We'll control the rent here, which will artificially drive up the prices eventually because there's not going to be anybody, and they're going to sell homes, and then we'll have more people who won't be able to afford to live here. That'll be fantastic. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Chad, you're being so chatty right now. I know. So much stuff we're going to grab on to today. A lot of stuff, including Gary Sinise is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Yeah, that guy's awesome, right? Like all the stuff. I got his book, and it is really amazing to watch what he has done in his life and how he came about acting and the things that he was able to do along the way that all led him to a bigger, better cause than anything, and that is with his foundation and what he does for the men and women who serve our country. It really is. It's a great book, and I'm excited he's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Walmart is getting rid of their greeters, which has some people upset. But should you really be mad at Walmart? Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
When the customers come in, I greet the customers, and then if they have a return, I scan it and then put a sticker on it.
Adam loves his job and doesn't let his cerebral palsy hold him back.
Walmart is his heart. His job is his driving force in life.
But on Saturday, Adam says he was told that due to a change in corporate policy, his job description will change. He must now stand for his entire 8-hour shift. He must also be able to lift up to 25 pounds.
It's tough. Walmart's getting – here's the place that Walmart is, right? Like, this is the perfect example of when you're that big and Amazon's feeling it now, even though all of us benefit from these stores, right? We all benefit from Amazon. We benefit from Walmart. Walmart's trying to keep up in the ever-changing world, right? Today, JCPenney's closing a bunch of stores. They're not keeping up. They're falling behind. Walmart's trying to figure out, okay, how do we become leaner and meaner? How do we do some of these things? Because now we're trying to, you pick up, you drop off. It's not just what it once was. They're trying to say, okay, some of these people are going to be here doing this. Some of these other people's job descriptions are going to change, which means we need you to not only stand there and greet, you've got to clean the area around here, but also you're going to have to maybe get some of these things and take them out the groceries because people are going to order online and pick them up. And that's really cool. I've been doing that a lot. It's really, really cool. There are some things that are happening and people are mad at Walmart. They're pissed off. They're angry. It's tough. And I was telling producer Phil, nobody hates Target. I go to Target. I was in Target over the weekend. You know what I didn't see? I didn't see anybody that was special needs or had any issues that would, like a person with cerebral palsy wasn't greeting me. They weren't working behind the counter. And Walmart's getting hammered for they're evil, they're evil, they're evil, they're evil.
Adam says that he has until April 26th to comply with the new regulations or he no longer has a job.
I'm not going to be able to do that.
I understand that corporate policies change, so if they want to make this change, that's fine. But I think that they should grandfather him in. He's been there for 10 years.
And maybe that's what they do. Some people say, well, they're hoping to be able to find other things. And I think that will happen for some places. For some, people are just not able to do it. Right? It changes. Like if tomorrow the station flips to Spanish, I can't say, can you grandfather me in? Do you speak Spanish? Poquito. A little bit, not much, but still. But Chad, no, it's not. It's a business. They're trying to keep up. They're trying to be profitable, and they're competing with a behemoth like Amazon, and they're doing several different things. So it's hard to be mad at them. And I know people are because you see the greeters, right? And let's be real, the greeters are interesting because they always look at your thing, right? and they always a lot of times, whether it's when you're walking out of the store and they look at your receipt and they give the little thing right through there like it's TSA. And the entire time you're thinking, you never even looked in my bag. You never even looked. You don't even know what I have. You have no idea. But here's the thing that made me laugh about just the situation that Walmart's in. This is tough, and I'm sure Walmart's not thrilled by it because they've been a huge proponent of hiring people with special needs. They're getting hammered today, though, because there's a new dating show that's on their thing called Love is in the Aisle, and it's about people who go on blind dates in Walmart. And guess what? The American Family Association is taking aim at them, wants them to take down one of their episodes with two gay men on a blind date at Walmart, which is a weird place to go because it's elevating homosexuality. You can't win for losing, kids. You can't. Sometimes you just need sanity in the world to step back and shake your head and go, doesn't matter what we do, somebody's going to be mad. Somebody is going to be mad. Nobody's mad at this next guy. Gary Sinise joins us straight ahead. This guy's cool beans. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I get a lot of books. Some I read, some I don't have time to read. This one I read, and it is amazing. It is what he does outside of the things that we know him for that are spectacular. Joining us now, he's, I look at him now and I don't think of him as an actor, even though he still is an actor. He's so much more than that. The book is called Grateful American, A Journey from Self to Service. Gary Sinise joins us. And first of all, the book is great, and I love the way that just the entire breakdown of it. And let's start with Steppenwolf, and let's start with how you got yourself into the situation where you started to build up an acting career, because I find that to be extremely fascinating, because it has led to everything else.
Well, thanks for having me on, and thanks for reading the book. I'm glad you liked it. There's a lot in it. I considered writing a book initially because I've been traveling so much the last couple of decades in support of our military and going to the war zones and the hospitals and meeting extraordinary people and seeing our veteran community and first responders and military in action, all these things. But then I started to think of the broader story that might be interesting, which is how did I get to this service work, this full-time commitment of service? So I started to track some of the steps along the way that have gotten me there, and certainly my acting career has played a part. So I went back all the way to the beginning of that and how I stumbled into it. Just in high school with a drama teacher telling me to come and audition for a play, and I thought she was, I laughed at it at first, but then I showed up at the audition. I ended up getting in the play. I couldn't wait to be a part of every single theater production from that point on. I was a troubled teenager looking for an excuse to go to school. I was really just about to get kicked out of school. And then I found this acting thing. And once I graduated, I just wanted to keep doing it. So I started a theater company when I was 18 years old with my pals and some kids in high school. And that theater company is Steppenwolf Theater of Chicago. It's been around for 45 years now. We built 4 different buildings there. It really is an American dream success story. And it, the work that I did there manifested itself into a movie and television career that gave me a lot of security with which I could then try to do some good with it. After September 11th, I just poured myself into service work for our veteran and military community, and it all came together with the creation of a military support foundation, the Gary Sinise Foundation. But I just decided to track all that, and I ended up writing Grateful American, the journey from self to service.
When we think of you, Lieutenant Dan, quite frankly, I think of you as Truman, because I just thought it was one of the most incredible performances. I still love that. Whenever it's on and I see it, I watch it. But we think of you as that, but you had family members that served in Vietnam. You had a lot of these things that led up to that, but it was 9/11 that really changed everything. And then you started going into this as really you jumped in full force.
Well, in the early days of my theater company, through a couple of my best pals who went to Illinois State University, they introduced me to the woman who would become my wife, my beautiful Moira, and she had 2 brothers who had served in Vietnam who were in the Army. Her sister went into the Army, married a Vietnam veteran who stayed in the Army for 22 years. They had a son who went to serve in the Army and 2 deployments to Afghanistan. So a lot of veterans in my family, and it was really the Vietnam veteran side of my family that kind of opened my eyes a bit. So I felt very badly for what happened to our Vietnam veterans back in the when they came home from war. So I started trying to do what I could in the Chicago area to support them. And then I ended up playing the Vietnam veteran in Forrest Gump. He was a wounded veteran. That led me to start working with our wounded. And then when I saw those airplanes go into those buildings and our country was attacked, and our fellow citizens started raising their hands to sign up for military service to go respond to those attacks, I just felt called to try to do something to support them. And a lot of that goes back to the Vietnam era days when our Vietnam veterans returning from war did not get the support they needed, and I didn't want that to happen again. So, as a celebrity, what can you do? I volunteered for the USO and started raising my hand. Started a band to entertain the troops. I started supporting multiple military charities. Many of those organizations are listed in Grateful American because they were there prior to my starting my own military charity, and I track a lot of that support and the inspirational people that have motivated me over the years that kind of played a significant role in this life that I have of service, and it's all put down in what I think is an entertaining and thoughtful and moving and hopefully an inspirational book. That's out now and it's actually on the New York Times bestseller list. So that's a pretty good thing.
That is a pretty good thing. Talking to Gary Sinise, Grateful American, A Journey from Self to Service. You do so much, and the video of all the celebrities thanking you for all the things they do, that had to make you smile more than a little bit. And I think watching the video shocked you in that. But in the day and age where we're so tribal with politics the way it is, and you being somewhat of a conservative, anybody who's even a moderate in Hollywood is conservative. It's interesting to watch how much love you got, and I think that's got to make you feel good inside that the work you're doing is being noticed in a day and age where we are very divided.
Well, that was something for anybody who didn't see that, who might be listening. It came out. It was a video that they surprised me with on the day the book came out, and behind my back, my foundation team were rounding up, various people, celebrity friends, people that I know and people that I don't even know, and military folks and some of our wounded that I'd worked with and everything. And they all sent in videos, and they surprised me with this sort of collage of videos from various people. And my team, I was getting ready to head to the airport or something to go to another city on my book tour, and my team said, sit down and look at this. And they put their laptop in front of me and they played this video, and I was just shocked to see all this overwhelming, support coming from various sections of our country and people in our country. And they videotaped me watching it, and then they put that online. And so it's like me getting all choked up. And it was very moving, heartwarming, and just a great way to start the book, coming out.
I would be remiss to ask you, do you still love acting? I mean, you still got the bug. You do so much outside of this, and you still have, some acting credits out there, but you don't do as much because you're doing something far more important, but then there's also the opportunity is that the acting has given you a platform that's amazing.
Oh, I've had a blessed career. There's a great chapter in my book called Perfect Timing, and it talks about how CSI New York and getting the television series back in 2004 played this major role in my ability to be able to do a lot of things for our military. I was ramping up and, going around the world supporting the military, and I got offered this television series, and it ended up being on the air for 9 years. It gave me some serious financial stability that I could then use to support various causes and to start my own charity. And, so the acting, I don't play that down. I've done a lot of it in theater, television, and film. It's always been, a great thing. I've loved it from the time I was 16 years old in high school. But I've also, life has taken me in a different direction right now, and I've been so blessed and gotten such joy from trying to help people in the military community that, and I, again, as I said, I'm blessed that I had some success on the television series, that I could allow myself the breathing space to do some wonderful things with regards to my the Gary Sinise Foundation, and to take a year to write a book, which was just a part of kind of looking over this life and kind of analyzing how I got to the service work and the blessings that have come from it. I hope people will pick up Grateful American and take a look at it.
When you go out there and you meet the men and women who have put everything on the line, and the family members, the people that have sacrificed in a way, some of them not coming home, and some of them coming home, but in such, in horrific situations where they've lost limbs, they're struggling, and you're able to see your foundation at work and stuff. I mean, what do you take away from that? Because that is, I always say when you give, what you get back is so much more important. I think that fills that thing back up, that makes you want to do it more and more. And in some ways, some people say it can even be selfish, but it's a great kind of selfish. How does that make you feel when you're out there dealing and working with these people on a day-to-day basis?
Well, seeing the impact and seeing that we are making a difference is a great feeling. I always tell the people that work at my foundation, hey, we're in the, we're in the business of just making people feel better. That's it. If you want to be a part of something that brings some joy and positivity to somebody who's sacrificed for their country, if you want to see the smiles on children's faces who have lost a parent in the war, if you want to provide a home for a badly wounded service member that may never have the opportunity to live in a place that is actually built for them and their challenges, missing limbs or traumatic brain injuries, then you're in the right place. This is a good mission. The mission is just to give back. As I said, I've been blessed. I've been able to take substantial resources financially and put it into the foundation to create something that I hope will last a long time and be in service to the men and women who support and defend our country. I don't think we can ever do enough for the freedom providers who stand strong in defense of our freedom, but we can always try to do more, and I say that all the time. Just do a little bit more. You don't have to write checks. You can help the military family down the street if you know that there is one, by just showing up and showing them that you care and appreciate what they're doing. Remember, there are people out there each and every day, 24/7, defending our precious freedom here. And I don't think we, today, anyone who was around on September 11th and saw that horrible event unfold in front of our eyes on television, I think everybody will reflect back to that moment thinking, oh my gosh, what is happening now? Is this the world we're going to live in? Is our freedom under, in jeopardy here? Thankfully, we have people that are trying daily to prevent that from happening again.
Absolutely. It is an amazing book, Grateful American, A Journey from Self to Service. Gary Sinise, thanks so much for taking time with us today. God bless you, brother. The work you do is far outreaching than most people can even dream of. But the little things that you can do, every one of us, the help is amazing. And you inspire a lot of us. And, hey, I love you as an actor as well. But what you do outside of that is just absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. And again, I get a lot of books. I read this, and some of the interesting thing is when I was reading some of this on all of it, just you get into, even when he was acting, it's like, we got to find a place to act. And they put together this theater, but it's the people that came from the theater, right? Because you think of Chicago and you have the comedy, all of the Second City and all of these kinds of things. But then you read this and there's Malkovich and all these other people that came from this theater where they kind of got their start as well, which is fascinating. And it works its way all the way through, and how he got involved in many times. And even when he was doing Steppenwolf, he was giving vets free nights to come see their plays. It's just an amazing journey. And to where he is today, you can't say enough. That right there, when people say you're a great American, that guy's a great American. That guy is. Other people, not so much. That guy, absolutely. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what?
Among the latest, poking good-natured fun at Nebraska's new slogan from the State Tourism Commission is U of Nebraska head football coach Scott Frost. The commission says it'll send Frost some swag to sway him, like the slogan bearing mugs sent to morning TV hosts Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest.
And so the new slogan now is this: Nebraska. Honestly, it's not for everyone.
Coach Frost says he's used the slogan in recruiting and looking for high-character people, not those seeking glitz and glam of a big city.
Oh, look at that. Huh? It's not for everyone. Nebraska, it's not for everyone. It got me thinking, was there ever something funny like that? Yes, and we go back in the Wayback Machine where somebody else made fun of a state. They should have used this as their slogan pitch. Remember this?
Imagine being able to be magically whisked away to Delaware. Hi, I'm in Delaware.
Waynesworld. Did you see that they were at the Oscars together? So if we're getting a Bill and Ted movie, are we going to get a Wayne's World movie? Are we going to get another one? Are we going to get another bite of the Wayne's World, another bite at the apple for that one? I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. People are tweeting in because earlier we were talking about the professor at UC Davis who said it was cool to kill cops and that's what you should be doing, and he won't, he'll sleep easy when all cops are dead and blah, 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 whatever. It's just something ridiculous. And people say, so do you think he should be fired? I said, look, I support his free speech. Here's my issue. It's when it doesn't go the other way. Meaning if somebody else says something and you perceive it to be hate speech, where you're not advocating, but maybe you're arguing against something based on science or whatever, like, Ben Shapiro comes on campus and he talks about, trans students, and all of a sudden everybody's like, it's hate speech, or somebody who's a student there raises a question like that and they're automatically in trouble. That's the issue I have. I'm about free speech, but remember, free speech is about the speech that what? You don't like, not the speech you do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. My Pillow's amazing. Thank God I have mine. I've been traveling. I worked so much over the last several days and traveled so much. It has been a huge relief knowing I've got my Go Anywhere pillow from My Pillow with me. 100% machine washable and dryable, made in the USA. 10-year warranty, nothing to lose. Money back guaranteed till March. Now is the chance. Jump on this while you can. 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, half the price, free shipping. It's awesome. Money back guarantee till March. Jump on this now. 800-944-4975 or go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. 800-944-4975 or visit mypillow.com. Use promo code Benson at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Just left Chairman Kim. We had a really, I think, a very productive time. We thought, and I thought, and Secretary Pompeo felt that it wasn't a good thing to be signing anything. We spent pretty much all day with Kim Jong-un, he's quite a guy and quite a character, and I think our relationship is very strong. But at this time, we decided not to do any of the options, and we'll see where that goes. But it was a very productive 2 days. But sometimes you have to walk.
Yeah, that's the truth. Sometimes the best deal is no deal at all. Sometimes you say, I'm willing to overpay because I want something, but I'm not willing to be foolish. Because any deal that was going to get done with North Korea and us, we were going to have to overpay a bit. And I think what happened yesterday was something that we talked about on the show, and I didn't hear anybody else talking about. I don't want to take credit for it, but I'm going to because I'm the only one on the show. That we could have delayed these hearings a few days, but I think it really did weaken. I think China and North Korea watched those things as much as Trump did and said, he's weak. He may be willing to get a deal done just to have something to take away from all of this stuff. So let's ask for the world. Right? And Trump said, nah, I'll walk away. Right? I'll walk away. And he did. And it wasn't an awful walk away. They didn't hate each other. It wasn't any of that weird, like, oh, that's it. This is it. We're back to Rocket Man and we're back to all of that stuff. It wasn't that. It was just, no, it's, I'm good with this, right? I'm good with this. I don't think we're going to have this.
Rocket Man should have been handled a long time ago. Little Rocket Man.
I don't know if we're going to have that, right? I don't. I think what happened yesterday is they just said, hey, look, you know what? We're going to walk away. And it wasn't an angry, like you stand up and you're that's it, and it's frustration. He even described how it took place because it happened kind of suddenly. They had set up a signing ceremony. They were going to have a joint press conference. They had even extended some of the hours they were supposed to be discussing, and then within minutes it was, nope, that's it, we're done. And press conference moved up. It's solo press conferences, and we're out of here.
This wasn't a walk away like you get up and walk out. No, this was very friendly. We shook hands. There's a warmth that we have. Now, I hope that stays. I think it will.
Yeah. I think it will. Doesn't mean that it's going to stick around forever, ever. And here's the other thing. If I'm Kim, right? None of the other presidents really tried to do anything spectacular. They continued to choke off, the economy and the trade and everything, and the sanctions were debilitating. If it wasn't for China, they wouldn't even exist at all. They wouldn't. China keeps them alive. Clinton tried to, right? And then he placated them and kind of didn't. There was no verifying, and Madeleine Albright dancing with Kim's dad, and in the end, what did they do? They got a nuclear weapon. But I look at somebody like Trump, and you hear the Democrats and a lot of other people go, no president would ever deal with a person like this. The fact that he's even talking to him, the fact that he's in the same room, it just shows you what an evil human being is and how much he likes these people, and blah blah blah. And my thing is, I look at this, and if I'm Kim, and I say to myself, Trump, got into the White House, and one of the first things he did was dropped out of the Iran nuclear deal and put everything back. So my fear is, I do a deal with this guy. I'm watching him get hammered on television. I'm hearing that they want to remove him and all of these things. What happens if we do some sort of deal and then the new person that comes in says, So I think that's a very real thing. But yesterday just wasn't the time to do the Cohen stuff. Yesterday wasn't one of those situations where I thought it helped the country. I didn't. Trump was not happy about it at all. And I think, people say, you don't want to hear from Cohen. It's not that. I could have heard from him next week. We've waited this long. We could have waited a few days. Everything else behind closed doors, which, by the way, is going on as we speak. Those are where the real things are happening. Everything else is, yesterday was just theatrics. But I don't think it helped him. I think it weakened him.
I think having a fake hearing like that and having it in the middle of this very important summit is really a terrible thing.
Yeah, I don't think that it was a good thing. I think we could have waited a few days. And what did we get out of this, honestly, right? What did we get out of any of this stuff? We got the usual crap. We did. We got the usual crap of everybody getting their 15 minutes here and their 15 minutes there and then talking about what they need to do and how they're going to go after and destroy him and look, all the stuff here. And, oh, my goodness me, it's just, we didn't learn too much. Right? We didn't. We learned a few things that maybe you didn't know, right? Like the painting thing where he had another billionaire friend buy a painting, or the fact that he told supposedly Cohen that his son's not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to decision-making skills. And, but yeah, there's no P tape, right? Videotape. There's none of that. He couldn't, and he probably looked for it because that's what you pay that guy to do. Right? That he didn't see any collusion. He suspects, but he can't prove anything, so suspects doesn't really count. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So there's some interesting things there for sure, but we didn't learn anything that was like, oh. No, we just saw a bunch of people grandstand. That's it. Bunch of people grandstand. All the while this is going on, you've got a situation in India and Pakistan in Kashmir area where we're talking about, so you think about this for a second. We're going through all of this dog and pony show yesterday, right? Where they're screaming, yelling at each other and blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff is happening. We've got Trump in Hanoi talking to Kim, trying to get a deal done where we can start to peer into this hermit-like, closed-off society and world where they have nuclear weapons and figure out how we can mitigate all of this stuff to the point where it's negligible on the world stage. Not that we know we're ever going to take everything away from them, because we're not, but we can get it so their bark is greatly reduced and their bite is virtually nothing. And it's very important. Very little press over the fact that India and Pakistan are staring at each other. And by the way, they have nuclear weapons. Think about that for a second. They have nuclear weapons. There's 14,000 trenches and tunnels dug around each other's borders. They are mortal enemies, and they're staring at each other, and they have nuclear weapons. Nary a word. And it's scary. Do I think anything's going to happen? I don't know if they'll use nukes, but could stuff escalate? That's a possibility. Even Trump talked about it.
We have, I think, reasonably attractive news from Pakistan and India. They've been going at it, and we've been involved in trying to have them stop. Hopefully that's going to be coming to an end. It's been going on for a long time, decades and decades. There's a lot of dislike, unfortunately. So we've been in the middle trying to help them both out, see if we can get some organization and some peace. And I think probably that's going to be happening.
Yeah, you'd like to think, but it's something that should have been paid attention to. And because it's out of sight, out of mind, because it's not salaciousness, we're not talking about, golden showers and Trump paying off hookers and prostitutes and blah, blah, blah. Nobody paid attention to it, but it should have been paid attention to. It should have. It should have got a little bit of love. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from each and every one of you. So if you live out west, right? If you live out west, guess what? Your commute is not good.
Driving around L.A. is often a slow go, and now a new AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety study says the average West Coast commuter is spending 20 minutes more each week in their car than they were only 5 years ago. Doug Shoup at AAA says more time in your car means more of a chance to not pay attention to driving.
That could lead to more driver distraction, driver fatigue.
AAA believes more people owning cars, lower gas prices, and aging infrastructure are to blame for more traffic and longer commute times in the West.
Yeah, absolutely. And the cost, too, is huge. And Arlington was up there, as was Marin and so many other places. But out west, we dominate in how gnarly the traffic is. It is. There's just a few places that didn't come anywhere close to what it is. And the thing about Los Angeles And producer Phil Arlington was on there. I think it was number 2 or 3 and how gnarly the commute is. But you guys also, you have trains that come from areas that we don't have in Los Angeles. How many, like you could take a train out in the suburbs there much easier than you can here. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can. You gotta wait a little bit.
No, so it's that doesn't run on an hour by hour basis. You got to wait a bit, but you can still get in and out.
Our subway system's a little messed up.
Nah, so, but you even have that. Like in California, and this is why I tell people, if you've ever been to Southern California, it is, I have friends who live 50 miles away from work. They'll get, their job starts at 8. They'll start their commute at 5. And they'll get home at 8. Now, I do the same thing in a weird way, but because I do so much and I love what I do. But I live an hour outside of where I work. I'm 63 miles from door to door. I stay a couple nights near the studio in a hotel just because I'm doing so much. But my commute's not that bad when I leave at that time. The problem is for a lot of people in certain areas, the commute is drive time traffic, bumper to bumper for all of those miles where I don't have that. It's nuts. It is nuts. Think about how much time you spend in your car. Right? So people always ask, well, why do people spend so much money on their cars, especially in places like California and other places where people have long commutes? Because that is your second home in a lot of ways. Why not enjoy your accoutrements, everything you possibly can, right? You add everything you can, because you're going to spend if you drive on average 2 hours a day back and forth to work, on average. And that's for a lot of people. You guys know you have 90-minute commutes, right? So you're spending potentially 3 hours a day. That's 15 hours, and probably through the weekend and stuff, 20 hours, almost a full day you're spending in your car. And in many cases, you're going to spend as much time in your car as you will at your house sometimes. Yeah, that's why. It's nuts. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet us. Speaking of spending a lot of time, another place you'll spend time is sleeping. That's where MyPillow comes in. It's incredible. It's amazing. It really will help you. I didn't believe it. Put it to the test. They got a money-back guarantee. Till March is your chance to get it. It is a no-brainer. Take this opportunity. You can get 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 go-anywhere pillows, half the price, free shipping. Also, they've got a money-back guarantee. So you're not risking anything other than not getting good sleep. Put it to the test. 100% machine washable and dryable, made in the USA, 10-year warranty. Nothing to lose. Now's your chance. 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 go-anywhere pillows, free shipping, half the price. 800-944-4975. Visit MyPillow.com. 800-944-4975. Visit MyPillow.com. Use promo code Benson. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. BENSON. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
90% of American people support background checks.
Yeah, they're coming. The guns, they're passing sweeping legislation that's not going to get signed. Trump's going to veto any of these gun things that are coming through. But they're trying. They're making an effort. If I'm the gun lobbyist, if I'm the NRA, and if I'm a gun manufacturer, it's a perfect storm to sell more. It is. Obama's still the greatest gun salesman of all time. Chad, that's not very true. It is. It is very. Look, when there's no worry of it, you don't rush out to buy it. When there's a worry that it's going to be gone, you're going to, or that you may have it taken away, you're going to fight for it and get involved in it. And you can look at, and the funny thing is about statistics and data, you can look at all of this stuff. And I'm for background checks, I'm for training, I'm for all of those things. I think I'm okay with that. The overreach is ridiculous. We all know that. But don't also try to tell me that all of these things are going to make everybody safer. Then you go and you find out and you read all the statistics, including the statistics of alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, that say, yeah, the criminals don't get their guns this way. Right? Well, that's not very good. Well, what do you do then? You go and you try to find the data that will support your thing. But it's all about looks. It's not about results. And that's the sad thing about the politics in our world. You know, we talked about what's going on in India and Pakistan, the potential there, and Trump and North Korea trying to come to some sort of deal. They've got the safest places to be in case of a world war. So if you're in the U.S., Canada is the best bet for anyone in the U.S. if war happens to break out. It's ranked as the 6th safest country in the world by the Global Peace Index, right? It's where you want to be. Now, if you're in France or Italy in the event of World War III, you should head to Austria, right? Should the worst happen. If you're in Spain, well, Portugal's the place to be. If you're in Australia when World War III happens, New Zealand may be your only bet, right? And if you're in the UK, Ireland, maybe your safest bet. Maybe. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's possible. It's possible. Apparently nobody wants to blow up New Zealand. Nobody. What if those countries don't want you? Well, then you're screwed. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Walmart saying we're getting rid of this. We're going to touch on that. Also, those Yelp reviews, how real are those, and can you buy those? Oh, yeah. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thought and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Alexander Hamilton, in Federalist 72, made clear the founders' view that only the legislative branch commands this power, not the judiciary, not the executive.
Susan Collins, who's not happy with what Trump did with the state of emergency, and that's still hanging out there. I mean, think about the week that Trump is at Cohen. Productive, but not a finished summit with Kim. I didn't think it would be finished, but I think they thought they'd get the ball a little bit further. You still have the Mueller investigation hanging on out there, and then you've got the fact that you're facing potentially the Senate shooting this thing down across the board, and you can veto it all you want. You know it's going to go to the highest place. But there's a frustration, I think, that Trump looks around and sees this, and you've got more and more Republicans that are speaking out saying, I am not thrilled by this emergency declaration. I'm not. Because they feel like they're being usurped. You're going around us. And people say, well, Chad, there's like 31 other ones. Yeah, I was going to point all that stuff out, right? You're preaching to the choir here, except for when you look at them, they're not like this because of the dollars. And that's big. The power of the purse. Very important. Very important. And you've got more and more people on the right saying, this wasn't the right thing to do. This wasn't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So a professor at UC Davis who teaches children and young minds, right, in California and across the country, nationwide, it is so ridiculous what is going on. And we've had several prominent progressive professors who've come on here and talked about the fact that they feel uncomfortable with where colleges are going. They feel uncomfortable with how it is a one ideology place of extremism and lunacy. And if you dare have a moderate or a right-leaning position, you keep your mouth shut or else. Think about what this professor, Joshua Clover, English professor. Oh, does he teach the Queen's English? I do not know. Said about police officers, 2014, tweeted, I am thankful that every living cop will one day be dead. Some by their own hands, some by others. Too many of old age. Hashtag Let's not make more. He also tweeted, I mean, it's easier to shoot a cop when their backs are turned. No? Question mark. In an interview in SF Weekly, people think that cops need to be reformed. They need to be killed. This coming at a university, teaches children. By the way, remember Natalie Corona of Davis, 22-year-old officer out on the beat for just a few weeks when she was gunned down? Yeah. They as usual, they capitulate. We protect his free speech. He's got the right to say these kind of things. Fine. Again, it's free speech. The beauty of free speech is you're able to say something, right? But it should go both ways. It's about the speech you don't like, not the speech you do. If you were to say this about blacks, if you were to say this about the LGBT community, if you were to say this about anybody, I mean, my God, they freak out when Milo or you know, any right-leaning person at all comes to the college to sit down and have a chat in an open forum, right? Dave Rubin, a liberal. Oh, but he doesn't. And it's insanity. People are going into with trigger warnings and they fight to keep them off campus. And that guy does that and he's still employed? Are you effing kidding me? Have we lost our minds? Right? Well, look, he's got the right to say that. He does. He's got the right to go ahead and say that. But you're teaching kids and that's how you feel? Think about this. Last week, we didn't have a chance to touch on this, but Berekly, also a college campus, once the bastion of free speech, once the place where free speech, open ideas were celebrated. Now, left-leaning insanity. You got a guy named Hayden Williams on campus, right? Turning Point USA, trying to recruit some people to a conservative cause. Lo and behold, he'll tell you the story, what takes place, and it's filmed.
We were talking to a potential new member when this happened, and these two people just approached our table, as I said, very erratically, and started cussing at us, and that's when I knew that this was probably a troublesome situation. So I pulled out my phone to start recording, and his friend, one of the gentlemen that approached our table, smacked my phone out of my hand.
Okay, so there he is, right, trying to recruit. Not screaming, yelling, not yelling racial epithets and doing, no, trying to recruit, handing out stuff like so many other people do. Vegans, climate warming, whatever. People out there doing this, right? And they've got a sign because the whole Smollett thing had blown up, and everybody who wore a MAGA hat, everybody who's to the right was blamed for this and all of that stuff. And so they've got a kind of sign poking fun at that.
And while I was there, some students took offense to our sign that we had that said, hate crime hoaxes hurt real victims. And this person claimed we were promoting violence on campus and proceeded to take his aggression out on us.
Yeah. And I love that too, right? I love how they accuse of violence, right? They accuse of violence and then they commit violence themselves.
We know there were 3 witnesses, but I think it's also important to note that this is not new for UC Berkeley. This is a school that's been burnt down almost because they don't like the conservative point of view on the college campus. And so it's not just an isolated event here. The conservative view is under attack, and you have professors that are on that campus that don't want the conservative view and students there. So it's something we've got to take seriously.
Yes, it absolutely is. So you've got a UC Davis professor advocating for killing police officers and how they shouldn't make any more and they should all die, and you could shoot them in the back. You've got a kid on campus, and it's filmed from several angles, right? Like the first thing I said is like, I want to see if there's more to it. No, it is absolutely amazing. And you shake your head. But I say, what if, right? What if it was something else? I mean, my God, it's so, and this is part of that intersectionality and the victim culture that lies out there where everybody's trying to get above the next victim culture. And where is your hierarchy inside of the victim culture in the intersectionality of life? He's a conservative. He's a cisgendered male. Therefore, he's at the bottom of the barrel. And anything you do to them or him is totally fine. And that is not a good place to be. Especially considering we're not going anywhere. So we're either going to have to figure out, get along, or it's going to get ugly. And I think most of you listening probably agree. I've got friends, most of my friends are left-leaning. But very rarely do we talk politics or any of that stuff. I mean, the fact is, I always say, do you walk around? People always ask me, do you walk around all day talking politics? I don't. I get so many other things. I mean, you know what the biggest excitement with my day was yesterday? My producer, Anthony, went out of his way to get me a copy of a book about Gunsmoke and its 50th anniversary. I was over the moon. All the other things, I was so excited. The Cohen stuff I covered, it's been... But it's the little things. That's what life should be about. The fact that we all have different ideas about stuff. It's okay that we have different ideas. But this world that we live in now where we can't even share a moment anymore with people or talk about something or disagree, in particular over ideas. And I've always asked, what are you afraid of? Right? What are you afraid of? That you're afraid that this kid's handing something out. What are you afraid of? Why are you, school, afraid that somebody may come out and say transgender athletes, in particular male to female, shouldn't compete against female athletes because it's completely unfair? And you could talk about the testosterone all day, the years of building up muscle, and you're not going to get rid of the testosterone and if you're on a college campus, you say that, you're screwed. But you can advocate for killing police officers? Have we lost our mind? Have we lost our way? Because it is disturbing. It really is. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So how much do you buy into online reviews? For all the fake news that's out there, and there's plenty of it, both sides are guilty of it, I have a tough time when it comes to online reviews. One of the reasons is because you have a bad steak, you tell 10 people. You have a good steak, you tell one. That's one of it. But the other is how much do you even trust any of that? Because you can go set up a bunch of accounts to hammer your rival in selling tacos. So if you have a taco or if you have a hot dog stand or whatever it is, and you got somebody competing with you and you want to set up and on top of that, between buying Facebook likes, Facebook shares, Twitter accounts and all these kind of things, how real is any of it?
The FTC says a marketing company paid for fake reviews on Amazon.com, but our investigation goes even further, uncovering questionable reviews not only on Amazon, but on multiple online platforms.
Shopping for a phone case on Amazon? Get the one with 4.5 stars instead of 3, right? Hunting for Chinese food on Google? Same thing. Looking to hire a contractor on Facebook or Yelp? You're probably going to look at that rating, but you might want to take a closer look at those reviews.
Yeah, and people... Because I'm on Amazon a lot, right? So because it's, I don't know, it might be an addiction. It's just so easy, isn't it? Just like, oh yeah, I like that. I don't need it, but I like it. And it's going to come to me, so it makes it even worse. But it's hard for me to always look at reviews, especially when I know I've got a product from that same company and I'll look and these reviews are all negative. And I'm like, well, I know the product they make that I do like. So, and I do a lot, like Hotels.com is a perfect example because I use Hotels.com because I travel so much. And some of the hotels I go to are awful. They're absolutely awful. And I'll look and I'm like, wow, that's like a 4-star review or a 3-star review. There's no way. And some of the hotels where it's like 1.5-star review, but I'm like, I'm cheap. I'm staying here. I'm only going to be here for 6 or 8 hours. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this place. It's tough. It is. And you can buy these things.
So who are all these people that are writing bogus reviews? We start with a simple search on Google. See what pops up. Buy real Facebook 5-star ratings. This $15 for 55-star ratings, $200 for 60.
Yeah, it's a business. So how do you know it's real? Because they set up these farms and they get these things out there. And you can also have negative reviews. It's tough. That's why you got to go try it yourself, man. You got to go try it yourself. Got to find out what that's like. Otherwise, and the other thing is, and I've noticed this from my Facebook, is it's so much easier to be pissed and angry and scream and yell. And I think people enjoy that more than they do being positive. We should be more positive. I try to be positive. But God, people just love being negative. That's why they always say, you have a bad steak, you will tell 10 people. You have bad service, you will tell 10 people. You have great service, you may forget it or tell one person. Because we're so apt to jump on the negative. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter, tweet at us. Here's something that's positive. Try it for yourself. Pretty litter. I got Kitty Cupcake. She's not very nice, but she's sweet and beautiful. And then I've got 3, the world's greatest cat, and he's only got 3 legs. He had 4, then somebody hurt him because they're idiots, and they shot him. And he costs a lot of money to save, and he's awesome, and he's fast with his 3 legs. I take care of them like you cannot believe. What have I done? Well, besides all the great stuff they have in their house, I have Pretty Litter. First, for me, it's great because no odor. It is Litter 2.0. That's right, Litter 2.0. Small, tiny bag. Small, tiny bag lasts you a month, an entire month. So you'd have to slug around something. Oh, my God. Nope. Small bag lasts you a month. Absorbing crystals, so you're not going to get that stank. And I am in a world where I've got big, giant lizards. I don't smell them, but I would smell the litter. And here's the other thing. It monitors your cat's health. That's right. When the litter changes colors. So Pretty Litter, they go to the bathroom and it changes colors. There's something wrong. There's an underlying illness, and you can get to that quick, which will save you money and maybe save your cat's life. Do what I did. Make the switch to Pretty Litter today. Visit prettylitter.com and use the promo code CHAD for 20% off your first order. That's prettylitter.com, promo code CHAD for 20% off. prettylitter.com, promo code CHAD. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, CHADBENSON. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Serving up talk radio medium rare and dripping with irony. It's Chad Benson.
Weight Watchers, because investors today nursing some serious losses, including, of course, big owner Oprah Winfrey here, an 8% shareholder. Talk to me about this company, because they've tried to transition away from pure weight loss to keep clients on board, and they seem to be struggling.
Investors, I think, might be souring a little bit. You're seeing the number of subscribers start to slow down, and there are a lot of new other diet crazes out there. The keto craze.
The keto craze. It is a craze, keto, right? But and Oprah lost a ton of weight, and you watch television all the time, and to me, it's about a healthy lifestyle, and it is, and I'm amazed because everybody's looking for the craze, and I sit here and Oprah's like, she owns 8% of that company, like that is, and they're having a battle, right? Like they're having a battle, like over, what do we do? And I think Weight Watchers was trying to teach people, okay, this is how you can eat like a normal life, and where they've tried several systems, and then you look over and you see something like several of these other things that all seem to change as the wind blows. The name stays the same.
People are, having a low-carb diet. That doesn't really fit with the whole Oprah mantra of, I eat as much bread as I want. This is what she kind of famously joked about in one of those Weight Watchers ads from a few years ago.
Well, no. And plus, here's the other thing. You also have to think about all the blogs, and you go online, and you have 1,000 things to choose from. Right? Like out of here, I work with a company, Revitalize. They're amazing. Revitalize is incredible. They teach you how to be healthy. Like here, this is what you do. This is what works best for your body. And here's the technology of it. And we roll with it. And it's fantastic. And we go from there. And it's simple. And it's like, because here's the issue what I see with all these fad things is, can you get to the end of life with it? Meaning it works for 6 weeks. And you're like, I'm down 18 pounds or 23 pounds. And then they're like, well, the program's over. And you're like, great. And then 8 weeks later, you're like, I've put on 37 pounds. Because all they did was got you to buy their crap. They didn't teach you anything along the way that says what can last forever. And the keto thing, I've known people that are on it, man. That's a tough one to be on. You have to be committed to those things, right? You have to be so committed to some of that stuff. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Wonder what's next with Trump, right? What's the next thing to happen? Tomorrow's Friday. Is he going to do something crazy for the weekend, or is Cohen going to be the talk of the weekend? That'll be curious. Because Friday, he likes to do some stuff usually. Here's your useless fact of the day. There are more $100 bills in circulation than $1 bills. Now, most of those bills are in foreign banks, but there are more $100 bills than $1 bills. Think about that. Have a good rest of your day. As always, Night Night Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.